it's time to sit back and relax with your favorite drink. And listen. I was hired at a remote burger joint in rural Texas by Augustus Cordoba. Part 1. I didn't even know this Whataburger was here until I applied. It's buried behind some dead-end highway turnoff. It wasn't on GPS, not on any map I checked. I only found it because some wrinkled, half-faded flyer was stapled to the corkboard outside the laundromat I use. Red marker, shaky handwriting. Now hiring, night shift, good pay, must follow instructions, no experience necessary. Something about how it was worded just stuck in my brain. The money was solid, it was between gigs. I've always preferred the dark hours anyway. It just felt right. Well, should have known better. That gut feeling, I've always ignored it. First night pulling into the lot, the place looked too normal. Neon sign buzzed weakly above the roof like it was trying to stay awake. Single bulb over the drive-thru menu flickered like it was struggling not to die, casting this sick yellow glow. The building itself, not old, not new, just untouched. No graffiti, no busted windows, but not clean either. It was the air that hit me first. Grease, sure, but under that something sweeter. Something wrong, like syrup mixed with metal. I stepped out and headed for the doors. Glass panels, dark, the lobby dead quiet. But from the back, a thin strip of white fluorescent light leaked out like a wound. I knocked. The door clicked, but no one had buzzed it. No key, it just, unlocked. Swung open a few inches on its own, like it wanted me inside. "Welcome to the crew," said a voice from the back. I stepped in, squinting past the empty counter. Nobody there, just the low hiss of fryers and the buzz of dying lights above. Then he came through. He was tall, worn thin like he hadn't eaten or slept in days. Black Whataburger polo, stiff and spotless. The name tag read, Roy, manager. "Hey, you're Miles, right?" he said. I nodded. "Yeah, that's me." Roy gave a crooked smile that didn't touch his eyes. He handed me a rolled-up sheet of paper sealed in plastic. "Here, your rule sheet. Keep it on you. Read it before your shift starts. Break the rules and things go sideways fast." I raised an eyebrow. "You mean like company policy stuff?" "No," he said flatly. "I mean rules. You'll get it soon enough. Clock in. We've got 20 minutes before the first one shows up." The punch clock by the kitchen door looked like it hadn't been touched since 1982. I shoved in the blank card Roy had handed me. The machine stamped it, bright red ink. Blood red. I stared for a beat. Must have been the ribbon, just bad ink, right? Well, Roy led me to the break room. Couch, bleeding stuffing, microwave straight out of a thrift store time capsule. One sheet pinned to a corkboard. "Remember, smile during interactions. They like it better that way." I sat down and peeled open the plastic. The heading read, "Night operations. Do not deviate." 1. Someone orders a burger with no meat. Serve it. No questions, no expressions. Just smile. This is rule number 1 for a reason. These customers aren't hungry for food. They want ritual, a gesture, the offering. Now the bun must be fresh, lettuce crisp, tomato perfectly centered. Ketchup only, no mustard, no mayo. Never include pickles. You might be tempted to laugh it off or ask if they meant veggie instead. No, don't. These things, whatever they are, know when you're not taking them seriously. Their silence is not passive, their stare isn't blank. It's waiting, watching, judging if you're worthy to remain. Smile, hand it over, close the window, don't look back. They always leave slowly, like they're savoring something behind their teeth. 2. Do not look directly at the man in the superhero outfit if he enters. He doesn't order, he takes. When he shows up in person, that means something's shifted, something broken. He's not corporate, he's not a mascot, he's a relic. Older than the franchise itself. Older than flame-growed anything. He's tall, too tall. His outfit drags like it's soaked in oil. His plastic mask is cracked, but the eyes behind it are very real. Do not speak, do not breathe too loud. If he points at you, you go. Don't run, don't cry, just walk. Roy once told me the water guy chooses who he keeps the fire alive. The ones who fight it, they become something else. Worse than customers. 3. Fryers shut off at 3:33 a.m. Do not try to restart them. They don't just stop, they die. You'll hear the hiss sputter like they're gasping. Then silence. A heavy, final kind. Don't touch them. If you do, you might hear the screams again. Not from the oil, but inside it. Something lives in that grease. It's trapped, hungry and angry. One guy tried restarting them once. We found his shoes near the prep station, still smoldering. Nothing else. We don't talk about him. Just drop the metal lid, walk away, let the darkness settle. 4. At exactly 2:11 a.m., someone will knock on the back door. Do not open it. 3 knocks, slow and even. The cadence never changes. Don't check the peephole, don't speak through the door, don't even stand too close. It might sound like someone you know. Roy's brother, Eliza's kid, your own voice, but that's the trick. That thing outside doesn't want in, it wants you out. Now, if you open it, you don't leave, but you don't stay either. 5. Never mop behind the ice cream machine. Looks normal enough, sticky floor, grime in the corners, but that shadow, the one that doesn't match the lighting, that stain that keeps coming back, it's not water, it's where the floor ends. The machine hums sometimes when no one touches it, and that's not a malfunction, that's it breathing. One guy tried to mop behind it and disappeared mid-shift. We heard the mop clatter, and when we looked, it was just the bucket. Still full, still warm. No, we just let it be. The mess isn't worth the risk. 6. If the drive-through speaker starts talking backward, unplug it. Wait 5 minutes before plugging it back in. When it happens, it'll start as a low hiss. Then words garbled, reversed. The voice is thick, gurgling like it's underwater. It might sound like it's speaking to you. Whatever it says, do not respond. It's not malfunctioning, it's trying to open something. Time bleeds when you listen too long. Well, someone once stared at it for 3 minutes. When we shook him, he bled from the ears and asked where his mother was. She's been dead 10 years. Unplug, count to 300, plug back in. Don't be early, don't be late. 7. If a second version of any employee appears, keep working, do not engage. They look identical, sound similar, but something's always off. They'll be too still or too eager, or their smile won't move with their eyes. They'll say they forgot their keys or ask you to cover a shift. Ignore them. Keep bagging orders. If they speak your name, just keep working. Eventually they fade, like they were never real. Someone once told me they show up when the flame flickers, when something threatens the balance. One ever smiles at you with teeth that don't fit their mouth, hit the emergency button under the register, and don't look back. 8. If you hear crying from the freezer, ignore it. It'll start soft, like someone's trapped inside, a child, a woman, maybe even your own voice. Don't open it, do not investigate. It's not real, not exactly. It's bait. If you answer it, the thing doing the crying won't be the only one inside when the door closes. Well, we've lost people that way. Eliza came back from a night where she answered it. She came back changed. Now she never looks at mirrors, not even when she wipes blood from her own arms. Now, just keep working. Let the freezer cry. Well, there were more rules, yeah, but that was already enough to make me stop and rethink everything. I looked up at Roy. He was sipping his coffee like it was just another dead-end Tuesday. Yeah, is this some kind of hazing thing? I asked. He didn't answer right away, just stared into his mug like something might crawl out of it. Then finally he said, You'll see. Just follow the rules. I shrugged, folded the paper up, and shoved it back into my pocket. The rest of the crew trickled in one by one. Devon came first, probably around my age, earbuds in, eyes locked anywhere but on people. Then Eliza, late 30s maybe, sleep-deprived, ink all over her arms, the colors long faded though. Neither said a word. Devon gave a silent nod. Eliza lit a cigarette right there by the back sink, totally ignoring the no smoking sign nailed to the wall. By 11, the place was humming. The drive-through menu glowed like a ghost's grin. Grills warming up, fryers spitting grease. Roy moved through his checklist without saying a word. Eliza was stacking buns like she'd done it 1,000 times, probably had. Devon leaned against the milkshake machine, eyes on his phone, scrolling. First customer usually rolls in at 11:17, Roy muttered. Every night, you'll see. And he was right. 11:17 on the dot. Headlights sliced through the lot. Beat-up grey sedan coasted up the drive-through window. I moved to take the order, but Roy stopped me. Not yet, he said. First night you observe. Watch how we work. Watch the rules. Well, I nodded and backed off. When the voice came through the speaker, it was low and raspy, not quite a whisper, too clear to be static, too wrong to be human. Devon didn't flinch, just repeated the order back like it was routine. 1 burger, no meat, no pickles, no receipt. I glanced over at Roy. He gave me a curt nod. Eliza slapped together a bun, lettuce, tomato, ketchup, no patty, wrapped it up with robotic care. Devon bagged it and handed it out through the window. Yeah, have a royal night, he said, flat and deadpan. The car didn't move at first, just sat there, engine idling. Then it drifted off slow, like it didn't have a driver. The hell was that? I asked. Roy tapped the folded list in my pocket. Rule number 1, he said. Don't ask about the no-meat burger. The rest of the night bled out slow and weird. Customers came and went. Most were normal, if you squinted. None of them talked. I mean, no chit-chat, no smiles, just exact orders, exact change. Now, some of them, I couldn't even remember their faces. I'd look away, blink. It was like my brain had wiped them clean, like it didn't want me to remember. Around 1:45, the fries started acting up, hissing, popping, stopping, starting again. Eliza looked at the clock. Coming round to 3:33, she muttered. They're getting ready. Who? I asked, but she didn't answer. She went back to prepping fries like she hadn't even spoken at all. Then, at exactly 2:11 a.m., sharp, even, and measured, at the back door. I turned automatically. Don't! Devon snapped. Didn't have to. Roy was already there, arms out like a goalie guarding the net. Rule 4, he said, quietly but firm. Never open that door. The knocking stopped after about 20 seconds. I kept staring. I could feel something still standing there. Under the crack, just barely, I saw a shadow, motionless, waiting. Then at 3:33 a.m., the fryers died. I mean, no beep, no warning, just gone. Silence. The stench of old grease clung to everything, thick in the air like smoke. Devon walked past the fryers without blinking, like nothing was wrong, like he didn't see it, didn't want to, that is, maybe. Well, I stepped closer. Oil looked off. I mean, darker than it should have been, thicker, sluggish, like it had started to clot. I swear I saw something shift under the surface, pale and thin, like a finger maybe, but it vanished before I could even be sure. By 5:45, the flow of customers stopped, just like Roy said it would. Yep, always ends 15 minutes before sunrise, he muttered, handing me a paper time card. I punched out. That red ink again, bright as blood. Hey, you did good, Roy said. You followed the rules. I looked at him. What if I don't? His eyes darkened at that, just a shade. You ever wonder why the last guy never came back to collect his final paycheck? Well, I didn't say another word. I just grabbed my keys, got in my car, and peeled out. Part 2. The sky was turning pale by then. Sun was just beginning to break. In the rearview mirror, I thought I saw someone standing on the roof of the restaurant, watching me and waving. They were wearing a superhero's outfit. I didn't wave back. Didn't want to go back. Yeah, all day I told myself it was just a weird first shift. Night people are always strange. Maybe that place just pulled in the extra broken ones. Maybe the stuff I saw, the finger, the knocking, the blood red stamp, it was just my brain frying from sleep deprivation. But when 10:30 p.m. hit, I was already dressed, keys in hand, halfway to my car before I could talk myself out of it. Some part of me was afraid not to go back. When I pulled into the lot, everything was the same. Neon buzzing overhead, empty parking spaces, drive-through sign blinking its sick yellow light. The whole place was wrapped in quiet, except for the soft hiss of wind through the overgrown bushes along the edge of the lot. Same exterior spotlights lit the building like a stage, and again, one bulb blinked in a slow, steady rhythm like a heartbeat. I stepped inside, and the smell hit me instantly. Burnt oil and cheap disinfectant. Eliza was already at the counter, wiping down surfaces with a rag soaked in something too strong. Devon was leaning against the ice cream machine, earbuds in, eyes somewhere far away. He gave me the same mute nod. Then Roy came out from the back office. He looked worse than before. His skin was pale and his eyes were sunken deeper. "Oh, glad you came back," he said, his voice low and flat. He handed me another time card, red stamp just like the first one. I punched in, and the machine thudded like it had its own lungs. Roy handed me a new paper. Not the rules this time, no, a schedule. "You're on fryer duty tonight," he said. "Just prep till 3:33. After that, don't touch 'em. You remember the rule." I nodded. Yep, I remembered. Then Devon passed me a headset. "Drive-through gets weird around 2:30, he said. "Don't engage. If they ask for you by name, ignore it." "That wasn't on the rule sheet," I said. "Oh, not everything is," Eliza cut in. Well, she had a fresh burn curling red and angry down her forearm. I noticed, but she noticed me noticing. "New ones show up sometimes," she muttered. "We think the rules evolve." And she didn't smile while saying this. It didn't look like she was joking either. By 11:17 p.m., the first car rolled in. Same beat-up grey sedan from the night before. Same voice, too, whispered, dry. Another burger, no meat. This time I was the one who bagged it. My hands weren't steady, shaking just enough to notice as I wrapped the sandwich. No one called me out on it. In fact, no one said a word. The car didn't pull away right away. It just sat there, engine humming, headlights dull. I could barely make out the driver. It was just a shape, a jawline carved out of shadow. And then, eventually, it drifted off into the dark. Well, more cars came, one after another. A young woman with eyes too wide, too still. A man in a mustard yellow suit straight out of 1976. A kid, couldn't have been older than 12, paid with a crisp 20, stared dead ahead the whole time, didn't blink once. The orders were normal enough. Burgers, fries, the occasional milkshake. but no one asked for ketchup. No one wanted a receipt. Not once. Then at 1:05 a.m., the drive-through speaker screamed. Sharp burst of static that made me jump. Unit 2. The voice crackled through, glitchy, warped, distant like it was coming from underwater. Well, Devon tensed up at this. His eyes flicked to the drive-through screen. Nothing there. Don't answer it, he whispered. That's not for us. The speaker buzzed again. Unit 2 respond. Flame integrity at 48%. I reached for the cable. Should I unplug it? Eliza shook her head. Well, that's not reverse talk. It's just the maintenance feed. Well, maintenance from who? Not our job to ask. I swallowed it down and turned back to the fryer. By 2 a.m., I had a rhythm going. Drop, lift, salt, scoop. Again and again. Muscle memory took over. And then I looked up. The wide-eyed woman was back at the window. Same car, same deadpan stare. She hadn't even finished her last order. The half-melted milkshake was still in the cup holder. She asked for the exact same thing, word for word. Well, I shot Devon a look. It happens sometimes, he said. Just treat it like a new order. So I did. I bagged it and handed it over. This time she didn't smile, she just stared, eyes twitching, not like a blink, more like a glitch. And then she drove away. 5 minutes later, she was back. Same order, same voice, same smile, only now it was stretched way too wide. This happened 4 more times in the space of 20 minutes. Each time something in her broke a little more. The final time her hands weren't even on the wheel, just resting in her lap, calm and still. Well, I almost said something. Almost. But the rule echoed in my skull. Don't engage. Then at 2:33 a.m. the speaker shifted. I was at the fryer when it let out a long, low whine. And then, my voice, clear as daylight, calm and familiar. Miles, it said. I froze. Miles, we need you to come to the back room. God, it sounded just like me, but a little bit slowed down, off by a fraction, like someone trying to fake casual. The back room's not locked. Bring the headset. We need help. I tore the headset off. It was hot, like it had been baking on a radiator. Devon gave me the thumbs up. Hey, good instincts, he said. Most people crack the first time their name gets used. Has it ever been your voice before? He didn't answer. He didn't need to. And at 3 a.m., it got worse. She came back for the 9th time. Same car, same order. But now her skin had a grey, waxy sheen. Hollow, just wrong. When she opened her mouth to speak, I saw something wriggling behind her tongue. Something segmented. I shoved the bag at her and slammed the window shut before she could get another word out. And again, she didn't drive off right away. Just sat there, still as death, eyes locked on mine through the glass. Then, slowly, the car rolled backward, wrong direction, fading into the shadows at the edge of the lot like she was sinking into them. Eliza lit another cigarette, exhaled smoke toward the ceiling vents. She's a repeater, she muttered. Gets worse every hour. Tomorrow she might not even be in a car. What the hell is she? I asked. No clue, Roy said from the prep table, but she pays, so we serve. At 3:33 a.m., sharp, the fryers clicked off, no delay. The sizzle died, the hum stopped. And the smell changed. Not food, not burnt oil, no. It was something else, something sharp and damp, like wet hair. I stepped back instinctively. Eliza moved in, silent and calm, dropping a steel cover over the fryer like she was sealing in something alive. Don't look in there, she said, not even turning around. Not tonight. By 4 a.m., the freezer started to hum louder than usual. Beneath the noise, I could swear I heard breathing, shallow rasping, and a little too close. While the rest of the shift crawled by, thick with tension. The woman didn't come back. The fryer stayed cold and dead. No knocks at the back door. But every few minutes the lights flickered and the screen for the drive-through camera would snap to black and then blink back to life. Sometimes when it came back, it showed the lobby, even though the camera wasn't pointed that way. The last customer rolled in at 5:45 a.m. Little girl in a black hoodie. Couldn't see her face. She ordered 1 onion ring, and that was it. No drink, no combo, no words after that. Well, we gave it to her. She didn't pay. Roy didn't care, just waved her through. Sometimes they need the salt, he said. She walked off into the fog like she'd always been a part of it. Then at 6 a.m., I clocked out. The time card didn't stamp red this time. It stamped gold. Roy saw it and didn't smile. He just stared at me with a look that didn't mean yes or no or anything at all. Hey, keep the card, he said. Don't lose it. If it turns black, burn it. I stepped outside into the bleeding light of early dawn. The neon sign buzzed once overhead and then went dark. The sun wasn't up yet, not fully, but the shadows in the lot shifted as I walked through them. It's like they knew me. Didn't sleep when I got home. Just laid there, eyes wide, heart punching through my ribs, head full of static and whispers and deep-frying nightmares. And I knew, I just knew, I'd be back. Because those rules didn't just keep the wrong things out. They kept me in. Part 3. By my third shift, something inside had already twisted. It wasn't just the sleep loss or the stench of fryer oil that clung to my skin no matter how hard I scrubbed, no. It was deeper. It's like my brain had reprogrammed itself, rewired to expect the strange now, to make the unnatural feel normal. I didn't flinch when the speaker hissed to life on its own anymore. I stopped looking away when the customers showed up with glassy eyes, mouths that didn't sync right with their voices. No, I didn't question it, because this place had made sure I wouldn't. I was starting to see it for what it really was now. This wasn't a restaurant, not really. It was a threshold, and somehow I'd become its new keeper. When I pulled into the lot just before 10:45 p.m., someone was already waiting. A man. He stood by the dumpsters, frozen in place. Face turned toward the building, but he didn't move. Didn't shift his weight. Didn't blink. No, he just watched. I kept my eyes down and kept walking. I'd learned not to acknowledge anything that existed outside the building. Inside, the lights buzzed slowly and softly, dull and tired. Eliza was at the prep counter, cleaning a knife that looked like it belonged in a slaughterhouse, not a burger joint. It was heavy and stained, way too old to be part of a company inventory. Devon was already by the drive-thru, messing with his headset. He looked worse than usual. Eyes were bloodshot, his skin pale. Didn't say a word when I clocked in. Neither did Eliza. Roy stepped out of the back office carrying something strange. A VHS tape. Well, that alone set off alarm bells. I hadn't seen a VCR anywhere in the building. Break room TV, he said, answering the question before I asked it. Only plays tapes. You'll want to watch this one. Why? He handed it to me. The tape was blank except for a little sticker on the spine. A big letter W. Yeah, the waterman might visit tonight. Stared at him. What, you mean corporate? He gave a dry, joyless smile. No, not that kind of waterman. I carried the tape into the break room. The old CRT was already on, whispering static. I fed the tape into the slot. Click. Whir. The static shifted, and a commercial started. Grainy, low-res, soaked in oversaturated 1980s color. A too-happy family, plastic grins, burgers that looked just wrong. The lettuce was grey, the meat leaked something pale and slick. And then the camera zoomed in. The mascot. The water guy himself. But his face was cracked plastic. His eyes tracked the screen. No, tracked me. Then the tape glitched. Static. Then a new commercial, older this time, black and white. A cheerful voice listed off menu items while warped lounge music droned in the background. And in every shot, just barely there, the waterman stood in the distance, still, watching. Then, skip and static. More commercials, more broken, more wrong. The last clip showed him standing alone in the lobby. The lights flickered overhead. Something black was dripping from the ceiling onto his head. He didn't move, and then... black screen. I hit eject. My hands were shaking. When I stepped out, Eliza was waiting. She handed me a laminated card. "New rule came in tonight," she said. I looked down. Rule 13. If the waterman enters the building, do not speak, do not move, do not offer food. Do not look at him. Wait until he leaves. Let him take what he wants. Roy appeared behind her. "One more thing," he said. "If he points at you, go with him. Don't resist." I blinked. What happens if I do? No one ever has. I folded the card and slid it into my back pocket. At exactly 11:17, the first vehicle rolled in, but it wasn't the usual grey sedan. This time it was a black pickup with its headlights off, engine rumbling low like a growl under its breath. The driver's silhouette was massive, blocking out the entire window. Devon took the order, his voice cracking halfway through. He handed me the bag. His hands were trembling. You do it," he whispered. I opened the window, and the driver turned to me. One eye dead and milky, the other sharp and locked onto mine. He grinned. It was wide and unnatural, a mouth full of square porcelain teeth lined up just too perfectly. He took the bag without a word, nodded once, and drove off into the dark. When I turned back inside, Eliza was at the sink, furiously scrubbing her arms with sanitizer, and her hands were shaking. "That wasn't him," I said. She didn't look up. "No, that was a harbinger." Well, the next few hours crawled by in a heavy, silent tension. At 2 a.m., the ice cream machine started to hum. Not its usual sputter, but a low melodic tone, like a lullaby played through broken speakers. Well, Devon didn't say a thing, just unplugged it. Eliza disappeared into the freezer, and she came back with a box of meat that reeked of vinegar and ammonia. No one asked. No one wanted answers. And then, just before 3 a.m., every light in the building dimmed. Not out, just low enough to twist the edges of everything into strange shapes. Shadows stretched where they shouldn't have, and the menu boards went blank. The fryer hissed and spat, even though it had been cold for hours by this point. And then we heard it. The doorbell chime at the lobby. Not the usual cheerful ding, though. No, this one was deeper. A low echoing bong that vibrated through my chest like a warning. Roy stepped out of the office, as pale as paper. "Positions," he said. We scattered. Devon stepped away from the drive-thru, eyes wide. Eliza moved through the kitchen, killing every appliance she could reach. I took my place behind the counter, palms flat against the cold surface. The door creaked open. And he walked in. Tall, too tall. His head scraped the ceiling tiles. Well, he wore the Whataburger mascot outfit, but not the sanitized corporate version. No, this one was rotted and ancient. The orange superhero outfit with a giant W on his chest, dull and faded with age. His mask was cracked plastic, spiderwebbed across both cheeks. But the eyes inside were real, and they moved. Every step he took was slow, heavy, and deliberate. Echoes stretched long behind him. He didn't speak, didn't acknowledge any of us. We didn't dare look at him. Roy stood stiff near the condiments, unmoving. Eliza had backed into the hallway by the freezer and froze, pressed against the wall. Devon dropped to one knee and bowed his head. I stood there, stuck. Now my instincts were screaming to me to run, but my body wouldn't listen. The water guy passed close. The stench that came with him wasn't grease. No, it was dirt, wet soil, rot. Something ancient and just plain wrong. He stopped at the prep table, picked up a half-assembled sandwich, held it and stared at it, and then slowly, without effort, crushed it in his hand. I flinched. His head turned and he pointed at me. My blood turned to ice then, and I couldn't breathe. "Go," Ray whispered, his teeth clenched tight. My feet moved before I could even think. I stepped forward, like I wasn't in control anymore, like something else had taken the wheel. I stopped in front of him. He didn't speak, just turned and walked back toward the kitchen, moving like gravity worked differently on him. I followed. He didn't touch me, didn't even look back. Just led me past the fryers, past dry storage, past the walk-in freezer. But we didn't stop there. He opened a side door I'd never noticed before. No sign, no label, nothing. Inside was a stairwell. It dropped down into pure darkness, like a throat leading straight into the earth. I didn't want to go, but I did. The stairs groaned beneath every step, slick with moisture that smelled like wet copper and mold. The air vibrated faintly. Some machine far below humming like a distant engine at the bottom of a forgotten mine. When I reached the end, I found a room. Small, circular, bare concrete walls, damp and pitted. In the center was a pedestal, nothing fancy, just a block of old stone. On it sat W. He pointed again, and I stepped forward and picked it up. The moment my fingers touched it, something hit me. Heat and cold all at once, a rush of noise and static, voices whispering through my skull, images flashing too fast to catch. A drive-through window yawning open to a sky on fire, a fryer bubbling with something that screamed. A customer peeling off their own face and handing it over with exact change, and then it was gone. He turned, walked back up the stairs, left me standing alone in the concrete tomb, big W still in hand. Don't know how long I stood there, but eventually I climbed back up. The restaurant was dead quiet. Devon was gone. Eliza was scrubbing the floor in silence, head down, hands red. Roy was at the register, tapping keys on a dead system. Nobody asked what happened. At 6:01 a.m. I clocked out, and this time the card didn't stamp red or gold. It was blank, completely empty. When I got home, the giant W was still in my jacket pocket. When I looked in the mirror, his eyes stared back. Not mine, his. Watching, waiting. Just like he said they would. By my fourth shift, I dropped all pretense. No more lying to myself, no more rationalizing. This wasn't a corporate prank. This wasn't an ARG or hazing ritual or some stress test dreamed up by a bored middle management. No, this place was wrong. It didn't belong here, and neither did I, but I was here. I'd become part of it. When I pulled into the lot at 10:48 p.m. that night, the overhead lights were already off. The only light came from the drive-through menu board, flickering faintly like an old film reel. The building pulsed with sound, deep, constant, like something alive was dreaming inside it. I stepped in. Roy was waiting. God, he looked like hell, eyes sunken, skin yellowed like nicotine paper, hands shaking as he handed me a new rule card. Rule number 14. If a customer says they've been here before and you don't remember them, smile, apologize, then give them whatever they ask for. We're expecting a rush tonight, Roy muttered. At this hour? I asked. He shook his head. Not that kind of rush. Eliza arrived next. Her apron was stained and the hem was torn and dragging. She gave me a nod, but her eyes flicked up toward the ceiling, like she was listening for footsteps on the roof. Devon didn't show. No one mentioned it. At 11 p.m. sharp, the locks clicked open on their own, same as always. No key, no motion sensor, just unlocked. The menu screens flickered on, but they looked wrong. The burger image was warped now. The bun too tall, the lettuce almost translucent. The milkshake cup pulsed in the corner of the screen like a heartbeat trapped behind glass. At 11:17, the first in-person customer walked through the front doors. That was rare. Most never left their cars. She wore a ratty grey hoodie with frayed sleeves, her hair clumped and greasy, but she smiled wide and sure, like she belonged there. Yeah, do you remember me? She asked. I didn't, but I smiled anyway. Yeah, of course, welcome back. What can I get for you? Her eyes sparkled. A straw. I handed her one, and she took it like it was some sacred heirloom, held it close, and walked out without another word. Roy gave me a slow nod at that. Good, you're learning. And then the drive-through bell rang and didn't stop. Oh, car after car, like clockwork. Same timing, same silence between arrivals. We barely had time to bag an order before the next one crept forward. Some didn't speak, they just extended a hand and dropped coins into the tray. Coins that sounded wrong, too light, too hollow. We still served them. One asked for a Happy Meal. We don't have Happy Meals, but Eliza packed a paper bag with chicken fries and a rubber ball she found beneath the sink. The customer accepted it and drove away. At 1 a.m. I spotted someone by the dumpster. Not the figure from before, no. This one moved. A man in a neon yellow safety vest, waving frantically. His hands were shaking, and his mouth, well, he was mouthing something I couldn't hear. I reached for the back door, and Eliza grabbed my wrist. Don't, she hissed. He needs help, but that's not what he's here for. I watched him through the peephole. He kept mouthing the same words over and over, and then he froze, like a tape paused, and he vanished. 2:11 a.m., the knocking came. 3 knocks. Always 3, always slow. Roy stood in front of the door, and his eyes were glassy. He was my brother, he whispered, before this place took him, before he started knocking. No one replied, and we never brought it up again. And the rush began at 2:45 a.m. We started with a bus. A full-size yellow school bus pulled into the lot, windows blacked out. The tires hissed across the asphalt like something breathing through its teeth. It parked silently. No headlights, no engine hum. The doors folded open with a wheeze. One by one, they filed inside. Not kids, adults. Grey uniforms, blank faces. Eyes faintly glowing red. Each one held the exact change, and each ordered the same thing. Double burger, no onions. We served them in silence. And then came the ambulances, 3 of them back to back. No sirens, drivers hidden behind surgical masks. They ordered burgers and milkshakes. One of them left behind a bag. It was marked Biohazard. Roy took the biohazard bag into the back without a word. Didn't look inside, and we didn't ask. The next vehicle that rolled up didn't have tires. It just floated, no joke, hovering a few inches above the asphalt, humming like a low, broken power line. The driver wore mirrored sunglasses, even though it was pitch black outside. When he pulled up to the window, I caught my reflection in his lenses. I was smiling, but I wasn't actually smiling. Gave him a single fry, shut the window, didn't say a word. Then, at exactly 3:33 a.m., the fries let out a final hiss and died. But the rush didn't, no. Cars kept coming. A line stretched from the lot out into the road and beyond. I watched the screen loop the same footage. Same car, same driver, on repeat. Every third vehicle, the pattern reset. But the customers got worse. Less human. One was stripped of skin, just raw red muscle and tendons, gleaming under the lights. He ordered a Coke. Another was a bundle of vines under a hoodie, twitching like it was breathing. One wore a rubber pig mask, and the snorting sound from its snout was real. Roy just kept nodding. "Keep serving. Don't stop." "It's not about the food," I muttered. "No, it's about balance," he said. Well, I didn't ask what that meant. At 4 a.m., I lost time. 1 second I was handing out a drink. The next 25 minutes were gone. My shirt was soaked through, my fingers burned and red like they'd been held against a hot grill. But Eliza looked worse. Her apron was gone, her bare arms were scratched up and bleeding, and she didn't even notice. Then the TV in the break room flicked on by itself. The VHS tape was playing again. The Waterman was on screen, standing in the freezer. This time he spoke, but his mouth never moved. The words were in my head, though. "Do not let the flame die. Serve until they are full. If you fail, you'll be the meal." And then the screen snapped to black. By 5 a.m., the line had just vanished, just like that. No more headlights, no more orders, no more voices, only silence. The cooling machines hissed in the background. The air reeked of sweat and burned grease, and something worse, something ancient. The kind of fear that gets baked into the dry wall, into the bones of a place. Eliza collapsed onto a stool, her eyes bloodshot, her hands twitching. Roy sat at the prep counter, staring at nothing like he was waiting for something to move. For me, I clocked out. My time card turned black right there in the machine. No one said a damn word. I stepped outside. The bus was still parked out front, but it was empty now. So was the pig-masked man. He stood next to my car, still, watching. I didn't confront him, didn't ask, just slid into the driver's seat and pulled away. My hands trembling, my eyes locked on the road, nothing else. When I got home, I checked the mirror. For half a second, just a flash, I saw them. It was the lobby, full, every seat taken by silent customers, all staring at me, all waiting for the next shift. Well, I didn't sleep after nightfall. Every time I shut my eyes, I saw them. That line, endless. Eyes glowing red, mouths sewn shut, voices like rust dragged over steel, and always, always that voice in my skull. Don't let the flame die. Part 4. Sat in the shower until the water went ice cold. The skin was wrinkled, my fingertips raw. The stink of grease and burnt meat clung to me. It just wouldn't scrub off, wouldn't fade. Something inside me had shifted. Something inside that place had noticed. The black time card lay on the nightstand. Picked it up, turned to ash in my hand. At exactly 9 p.m., someone knocked on my apartment door. No peephole, no voice, just 3 slow, deliberate knocks. Well, I didn't open it. And at 9:01, an envelope slid under the door. Inside a new time card, white this time. Scrawled in red marker across the top, one word. Manager. I stared at it for a long time, and my gut twisted. My hand shook. But I didn't burn it, didn't tear it, didn't throw it away. I just set it on the counter and waited for the sun to vanish. By 10:40, I was behind the wheel again. Not out of choice, because something pulls you back. Like gravity, like a curse. The Whataburger rose ahead, half swallowed in shadow. Its windows reflected nothing. No stars, no streetlights, no sky, just black. The kind of black that breathed. I stepped inside again. The lights flickered harder than usual, buzzed like hornets in the walls. No Roy, no Eliza. The place was vacant, but it wasn't empty. Then I heard the crying. Not the muffled freezer sobbing from earlier nights, no. This was different. Closer. Raw. Human. I followed the sound down the rear hallway, past the mop closet, to a door I'd never seen open before. Maintenance. It stood ajar. Inside there were stairs leading down. The same stairwell the waterman had taken me through before. But now there were no torches, no flickering red glow, just dark and heavy, and the sound of someone breaking. I descended. Well, each step got harder, like the air itself was thickening. My legs ached and my chest burned. But I couldn't stop. At the bottom, the same circular room, same bare concrete, same pedestal in the center, but no W. Just Roy on his knees, hands over his face, shoulders shaking. He looked up when I entered. His eyes were leaking blood. I tried to stop it, he rasped. Tried to rewrite the rules. He coughed. It was wet and broken. But they're older than us. Older than time. I stepped closer. The air reeked. Burned meat and ozone, sharp and electric like the aftermath of a lightning strike. What are they? I asked. Hunger, he said. Given form, given laws. The rules were the only way to trap them, or maybe keep them out. Doesn't matter anymore. He reached into his coat and pulled out a key. It was bone white and carved, not shaped by any machine. You're the manager now, he whispered, pressing it into my palm. Don't let the flame die. Then he turned, climbed the stairs, and vanished. I never saw him again. When I walked back into the kitchen, the lights were bleeding red. Every screen, every menu board flashing one message in perfect sync. Feed them. And the drive-through bell rang, but this time the voice on the speaker wasn't glitched. It was mine. Order for Miles. One last shift. I turned to the register. The screen was dark, but I could hear the receipt printer spitting out paper, fast and relentless. A roll of names, thousands of them, unfurling like a tongue, too many to read. Then Eliza appeared at my side, but she looked different. Her skin was darker, veiny. Eyes were bottomless black. Well, you made it, she said. What happened to you? I asked. She gave me a tired, yet knowing smile. The flame takes something from all of us, some more than others. Can I leave? The smile faded then. You're the manager now. You don't leave, you serve. and a station wagon pulled into the lane. Inside a family, mom, dad, 2 kids. Well, their mouths moved, but no sound came out. I took the order. My hands moved without asking me. I bagged the food, handed it out, and smiled. Then another car, another transaction. Time was unraveling, twisting in on itself. I couldn't track the hours. Well, the food never ran out, though, and the oil stayed hot. The drinks flowed like blood from a wound. I didn't get tired, didn't blink. Eventually, I saw myself at the window. It wasn't a reflection, no, something else. Another me, gaunt, pale. He watched me, always watched, never blinked. 5:45 a.m., the line ended, and silence returned. The W appeared on the counter, just sitting there. I didn't want to touch it, but I did. I placed it on my own chest. And the room changed. The walls pulsed flesh instead of plaster. Tiles curled like dry leaves. The fryer belched smoke shaped like screaming mouths. The freezer door swung wide, and red fog slithered out, thick and slow, spreading like rot. The voices came then. Manager accepted. Flames stoked. Balance maintained. Then the sun rose and the fog evaporated. The building snapped back. Ordinary. Quiet. Sterile. Eliza was gone, and so was the W. It was just me and the list. A new rule sheet had been taped to the register. Different ink, fresh paper, and at the top my name. Miles. Shift leader protocol. 50 rules now. Some I recognized, most I didn't. One was circled in red. Rule 51. When the new hire arrives, smile. Shake their hand. Tell them it's just fast food. I stepped outside. The air smelled clean, and the sun was warm. But the shadows behind the restaurant twisted wrong, just too long, too slow. In the distance, a car pulled into the lot. Inside was someone new. Back stiff, eyes wide, clutching a paper flyer. And I smiled. Because I understood now. I wasn't working at Whataburger. I was part of it. And someone had to keep the flame alive. Okay, my dear friends, what the hell did I just read? Sometimes I just love these really far-out ones, which are very high concept, but, well, I don't know. Does it all have to make sense? Well, just because I don't understand it doesn't mean it's not right. And anyway, yeah, read that all in one long go, so as you can tell, you can always tell when I'm just like waffling at the end, because I've tried to read the whole thing from start to finish, and, you know, it does have a bit of an effect on the brain. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that one. Thoughts, feelings, anything else you want to say in the comments below the video, and as ever, I will do my best to join the conversation. I really, really enjoyed weird, wonderful ones like that, and just, yeah, tell me what you think. That's it. Oh, it's 35 degrees here, insanely hot. It's going to be 37 degrees tomorrow, so I don't think I will be doing any recording in my office, because it just turns into an oven here. So, enjoy that one. I will be back again soon. Hopefully, I'll get the recording done early in the morning when it's a bit cooler. Anyway, my dear friends, yep, you'll sleep well, and remember, it's just a story. And join me again soon, yeah? Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this story today. Really means a lot to me, and to the author of the story, of course. Well, if you want to know more about me, I'm pretty much everywhere on social media. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can download my music on SoundCloud. I've got a Patreon if you feel like. Throw me $1 or $2. Very much appreciated. And of course, on Reddit, I have a place where you can leave stories if you want me to read one that you've written. Well, hoping to see you all again very soon. Till then, sweet dreams, and bye-bye.